Most men believe that to attract the perfect partner, they need to constantly be in pursuit, tirelessly accommodating every demand. Yet science reveals the opposite. Strategic indifference often fuels attraction more effectively. This means sometimes less attention ignites more desire. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal the science-backed strategies that can revolutionize your approach to relationships. If you've ever felt confused about why your best efforts in romance seem fruitless, you're not alone. Many men struggle with the game of love, trying everything taught by conventional wisdom, which often leads to heartbreak. Most men never discover that the relentless pursuit often pushes potential partners away. What you're about to learn is a departure from traditional dating dogma, holding the secret knowledge that few possess. This explains why so many men find themselves in endless cycles of failed relationships, chasing unobtainable ideals when the answers lie in understanding psychological and evolutionary dynamics. Myth number 1: always be nice and available. This advice is rooted in the belief that kindness leads to reciprocity. However, excessive availability often breeds complacency, decreasing perceived SMV. Instead of generating gratitude, it results in emotional dependence, clashing with hypergamous instincts. Now, consider myth number 2. Show intense interest based on the idea that attention equals affection. Ironically, overwhelming interest can suffocate attraction, as it bypasses the scarcity principle. The more readily available you are, the less desirable you become, illustrating the need for balanced frame control. Transitioning to myth number 3. Treat her like a queen. This originates from chivalric ideals. Yet, in practice, it often shifts relationship dynamics towards an unhealthy beta position while fostering toxic expectations. These myths neglect the core principles of social proof and pre-selection, essential for evolutionary-driven attraction. Let's prepare for scientific exploration. Understanding attraction requires delving into evolutionary psychology and neuroscience. First, the evolutionary basis. Countless generations have shaped preferences through sexual selection, where male competition and female choice determine reproductive success. Signs of genetic fitness and high SMV are paramount, influencing modern mate selection. In terms of neuroscience, the brain's reward systems, governed largely by dopamine, play a crucial role in attraction. This neurotransmitter not only influences feelings of pleasure, but also processes social value and triggers unconscious attraction mechanisms. But this is just the surface of what you need to know. The science behind this is even more fascinating, involving complex neural circuits that interplay during social interactions. In the next few minutes, we'll dive into the neurological mechanisms that underpin attraction. What you'll discover next will change your perspective, offering practical strategies for mastering relationships. Prepare yourself for a deep scientific analysis as Agent 2 takes this exploration further. The principles of sexual selection, as delineated by Darwin, play a fundamental role in human attraction. In the context of intrasexual competition, males often engage in displays of dominance to assert their status over rivals, utilizing mechanisms such as resource acquisition and physical prowess. In contrast, intersexual selection highlights female choice, where women prioritize traits indicating genetic quality and resource provision potential. This manifests today in a consumer society valuing status and success as appealing attributes. Delving into ancestral reproductive strategies, our prehistoric ancestors followed hunter-gatherer mating patterns, balancing between choosing partners for genetic quality and resource provision capability. Parental investment theory suggests that females invest more in offspring, favoring selectivity in mates and leading to behaviors like short-term mating and risk-taking in males to prove their worth. Now that we understand the evolutionary foundation, these ancient behavioral frameworks persist in contemporary society. Urban environments and digital platforms like social media exaggerate these patterns, employing status signaling akin to ancient displays of dominance. Dating apps condense millennia-old selection criteria, resulting in a curated presentation aimed at optimizing perceived attractiveness. The neurological mechanisms reveal that attraction operates on an intricate brain network involving dopamine pathways, critical in the brain's reward system. Dopamine is not only associated with pleasure, but also with reward prediction error, where expected outcomes drive pursuit behavior analogous to addiction cycles. Variable ratio reinforcement accentuates this by creating intermittent rewards that heighten anticipation and craving, akin to the escalation seen in substance tolerance episodes. Such patterns are visible in how attraction can become obsessive, marked by the need for increasing engagement to achieve the same level of satisfaction. Exploring social value processing, the prefrontal cortex evaluates status and integrates information on potential partners. This process involves mirror neurons, which allow for empathic resonance and internal simulation of perceived social dynamics. Such rapid, unconscious assessments are inherent to the human cognitive toolkit, guided by biases shaped to optimize ancestral survival. Attachment mechanisms, primarily involving oxytocin and vasopressin, enforce pair bonding by activating the brain's attachment systems. Secure attachment fosters healthy interpersonal connections, whereas insecure patterns can perpetuate dysfunctional relationships. Neuroplasticity allows these patterns to adapt over time, underscoring the potential for relational growth and development. This scientific understanding translates directly to real-world observations, where evolutionary psychology and neuroscience principles manifest in everyday behaviors. Examples include the tendency for individuals to display social dominance cues or leverage technological platforms to emphasize desirability traits. Measurable outcomes highlight the predictive power of these theories in gender interactions. The practical implications of this research show that visible dominance displays, nuanced resource signaling, and controlled presence modulation can enhance social value perception. Cross-situational consistency and adaptive approaches, informed by situational cues, further validate theoretical constructs in dynamic environments. What's fascinating is how these ancient patterns echo in our modern context, creating predictable partner responses and indicating relationship success through changes in behavior pre- and post-interaction. Such insights form the basis for practical strategies poised to be explored. Now that we understand the science, let's move to practical applications, where these mechanisms translate into specific behaviors that optimize attraction and connection. I'll show you exactly how to use this knowledge in real-life scenarios to enhance relational dynamics and foster meaningful connections. Here's exactly how to implement this. Adopt an alpha posture by standing tall with shoulders back and feet shoulder width apart. Most men fail here because they don't occupy adequate space, so extend your arms or legs subtly when seated. Gesture with authority by ensuring movements are deliberate and purposeful, using smooth and confident movements for territorial body language. The key to making this work is to exude confidence without crossing into aggression, communicating power through calm movements. For eye contact, maintain eye contact approximately 70% of the time during interactions to establish dominance, varying the intensity of your gaze to match the conversation's tone. Practice controlling facial expressions to maintain a neutral to slightly positive expression, which signals openness and confidence. Increasing awareness of micro-expressions can help in reading others and adjusting your strategy. What you want to do instead of intense staring is to gradually escalate the intensity to demonstrate confidence and interest. Project energy by speaking with a clear, controlled voice and use charismatic presence to draw attention. Command the room by strategically positioning yourself where you can be seen and heard, using engaging hand gestures and maintaining eye contact. Transition seamlessly into conversation by opening with a statement that commands attention and projects confidence, allowing for a natural flow into deeper topics. To open a conversation, the key to making this work is initiating with a high-value strategy, such as a witty observation or a genuine compliment to both capture interest and qualify the interaction. Use curiosity-based approaches to invite engagement and focus on interest qualification techniques to gauge the conversation direction. What you want to do instead of standard small talk is to quickly establish control by subtly steering the conversation toward topics that demonstrate your status. Understanding frame control is crucial. This involves setting the tone and perspective of the interaction from the beginning. Establish your frame confidently and maintain it by consistently reflecting your values and views. Most men fail here because they let others dictate the interaction, so reinforce your frame by remaining consistent and redirecting if necessary. Effective frame battle navigation is key to preserving reality control methods, ensuring you're steering interactions effectively. Creating tension can be transformative in interactions. Build sexual tension with push-pull dynamics, using slight teases followed by genuine affirmations to maintain intrigue. Create an emotional roller coaster by fluctuating between engaging with intensity and presenting calm neutrality. This technique works because it triggers deep emotional investment, encouraging others to reciprocate and escalate the interaction. Prepare for advanced strategies by mastering these basics, which lay the groundwork for more nuanced tactical engagement. Interest testing involves subtle compliance testing to see if your counterpart follows subtle requests, thereby indicating interest through behavioral IOIs. Most men fail here because they overlook these cues. What you want to do instead is observe and recognize both IOIs and IODs to adjust your approach. Application of qualification techniques helps determine escalation readiness by assessing the investment shown in interactions. Emotional escalation is maintained by effectively managing emotional states and advancing arousal-building techniques. Expand comfort zones by gradually increasing intimacy and handling resistance with empathy and humor, keeping momentum steady. This technique works because when emotional investments grow steadily, it offers deeper interaction and connection opportunities, essential for relational development. Ensuring sustained value involves SMV demonstration, showing social proof and scarcity principles by displaying options and effectively communicating independence. The next level of this strategy involves framing interactions in a way that shows depth and substance without over-investing, preparing the stage for the ethical considerations and scenarios that Agent 4 will explore. As you leverage value demonstration in diversified settings like social media or face-to-face, you'll set the groundwork for Agent 4's deeper dive into the nuanced application and potential pitfalls. Navigating complex social scenarios requires an adept understanding of multi-layered social situations. Picture walking into a room filled with different group dynamics and rising tensions. Successfully managing status hierarchies involves greeting key figures while subtly acknowledging all present, thus maintaining harmony. In high-stakes interactions, recognize challenging personality types and adapt by maintaining composure, engaging with a balance of assertiveness and humility. Resistance handling is crucial. Imagine facing opposition during a presentation. Techniques such as active listening and empathizing foster understanding and reduce tension. Rejection might come as a surprise, but resilience is built through reflective practices and seeking feedback. Navigating social pressure involves holding your ground, illustrating confidence under stress through measured responses and calm presence during difficult conversations. Step-by-step problem-solving builds on dissecting complex issues into manageable tasks. Adaptive strategy implementation comes from assessing real-time feedback and making quick adjustments. Methods for success optimization, stress practice, and learning from outcomes. Always ensure that your approach aligns with ethical guidelines, transitioning from mere goal achievement to fostering genuine connections based on mutual respect and benefit. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What separates ethical influence from manipulation is intent. While manipulation exploits, strategy prioritizes mutual benefit. Clear ethical boundaries involve informed consent and maintaining respect. Ethics place consent and dignity at the forefront, ensuring actions are sustainable and cultivate healthy relationship foundations, focusing on genuine improvement. Emphasizing authentic development, your journey should prioritize character building and personal integrity. A long-term perspective ensures benefits are profound and integrate personal growth. Such a value-based approach fosters continuous improvement, aligning your actions with core principles of respect, honesty, and integrity. Healthy dynamics hinge on mutual respect, requiring effective communication. Develop emotional intelligence to understand and respond empathetically, fostering a partnership mindset. This preparation for transformation involves seeing conflicts as opportunities for growth, realigning objectives to ensure beneficial outcomes for all parties involved. Your transformation begins with self-assessment. Reflect on your journey, embracing a growth mindset. Establish accountability and commit to evident change. By tracking your progress, you'll measure improvement and sustain motivation, embodying the change you seek. The next step in your journey requires immediate action. Implement what you've learned by setting an implementation timeline, using recommended resources for support. Engage in practice opportunities to refine skills, creating a concrete development pathway towards becoming a more effective communicator and leader. Remember, true confidence comes from belonging to a supportive community. Enrich your journey by participating in shared learning opportunities that foster growth. Embrace a continuous improvement culture that prioritizes trust and collaboration. Imagine the legacy you will leave, inspiring and impacting through ethical engagement and positive influence.